Today we're going to talk a little bit about evaluating difficulty of the pieces that you're studying and the sections within those pieces. So on the screen in front of you is the Chopin Etude Opus 10 number 4 in C sharp minor. The first thing you would do when you pick up a new piece is divide it into big sections. I like big sections that are around 12 to 20 bars or so, maybe a little more if I'm so inclined. Whatever makes sense, but that's kind of the range I'm looking for. So that looks about like this. And then I divide those big sections into smaller bites of, most of the time it works out to 4 bars, though not always. Whatever makes sense within the flow of the music. In this case, 4 bars works. Sometimes 6 bars, sometimes 2 bars, and certainly not uniform throughout the piece. This is not a close your eyes and draw an X every 4 bars type of exercise. This is very much a logical division of the music that I'm making here. The next thing you need to do, if you want to be as efficient as possible, is assess the difficulty of each section so that you devote more of your practice time to the harder material in the piece. So how do you judge? I use 4 levels, A, B, C, and D. Class A material is stuff that you can sight read with basically no trouble. This stuff does not challenge you. Most pieces have some of this in it, but if all you're playing is Class A material, you're unlikely to make much progress. So be careful how much time you spend here. It can be fun though, and can be useful for exploring mental challenges like transposition at sight, or mental practice and memorization away from the keyboard, or simply picking up pieces that you like and want to play just for fun. We call it playing our instrument for a reason, so there's nothing wrong with playing some of this now and then. Just be careful how much time you devote to it. Class B pieces are a little tougher than Class A. You can probably read these passably, but you wouldn't be comfortable playing them in front of an audience right at the beginning. Pieces in this category typically come together in 1 to 2 weeks if the bulk of the piece is Class B. If you're looking to improve on your skills behind the piano, this is where you need to be spending your time. This sort of repertoire presents lessons and challenges slowly and incrementally. Each piece would have just 1 or 2 little things you need to polish up and perfect so that you've accumulated those things and you're ready to just incorporate them into your harder repertoire as you take it on later, rather than having to learn 1,000 different things in a Class C piece later on. You will have already learned 985 of those things. You just have a few little lessons left from the harder pieces. Class C material is your core performance repertoire. While Class B offers incremental advancement in your skill level, it's hard to get excited about performing music from that category. That's where Class C comes in. It's hard, but you can make progress every time you practice. These pieces usually take 6 to 12 weeks to learn if you've judged the difficulty correctly. Depending on length and other factors, of course. If it's really short but hard, it's not going to take as long. And if it's really long, like a concerto movement, plan on devoting more time than that to it. So it depends on a lot of things. But these are the hardest pieces that are currently worth spending your practice time on. Class D material is the stuff on your bucket list that you're just not quite ready yet for. These are the pieces that you don't really make much progress on because you don't have the skills to handle the difficulties they present. They're best left on the shelf until you've played enough pieces that your Class D category has become smaller. The key distinction between C and D is that although both are challenging, you can see progress on C pieces from one day to the next, while D pieces seem to start hard and stay hard no matter how much time you give them. If I pick up something that I've judged as Class C, and assuming I'm correct about it, and I spend an hour with it, even though it's hard, it is different after that hour, and when I pick it up tomorrow, that progress will stay there. If I pick up a Class D piece, and I spend an hour with it, it's probably not that different after an hour. And even if it is a little bit different after an hour, it's definitely not going to be different tomorrow. It takes honest self-reflection to acknowledge when that exists. The good news is that as you study more B and C pieces, you find that this scale starts to slide. And as you gain more skills, your sight reading gets better, so your A section gets larger, your B section gets better because you've accumulated more lessons, your C section gets better because you've accumulated more lessons and you're able to handle more things and you've got more experience, and your Class D does eventually pretty much disappear. Now, at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that you should be cutting your pieces into small bites and judging the difficulty of each little section. The critical piece of information here is how hard each one is, so that you're not spending your time on the Class A sections of your piece, and you are spending your time on the Class C or maybe Class D, if you have just one or two of those little sections in your piece that's really hard, so that you're making progress on what you need to make progress on to move in the direction of being able to perform this piece. If you start with the hardest sections and devote more time to them than the others, you eliminate most of the candidates for trouble spots that might have tripped you up in a performance. The hardest parts become easy because you will have had them with you the longest. This is one of the secrets to a really secure performance that will captivate your audience. You've eliminated all of the worries, so there's nothing left to do but play it and sound great. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, be sure to subscribe for more tips that will help you practice smarter.